Now by National Security Institute senior fellow Bishop Garrison. Bishop, good to see you. Is this a turning point in the war with Ukraine and Russia?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think in part you're seeing that the global community is coming together to ensure that Ukraine has the resources that are necessary to continue to protect and defend their own sovereignty. So I think this is a good thing. It adds to the roughly 50 billion in aid that is going to come from the global community at large that was announced as a part of the G7 summit just over the last couple of days. So I do think this is a good thing. I think it's in the right direction, and there is a lot of time left in this this war front overall.
Let's amplify that a little bit, because my understanding is if all of these countries are showing up for Ukraine at this peace summit, nearly 90 countries are expected to join the summit. If almost 100 countries are supporting Ukraine here, it seems like there's a possibility more money, more funds could come out of this as well, right?
Well, there's absolutely a possibility of that, but a lot remains to be seen. We have a lot of different equities from these various countries that are going on right now in the world. At the G7, they also spoke about strategic competition with China. They also spoke about the need to regulate AI and other emerging technologies. They spoke about labor issues. They will speak about labor and climate as well. So there are a lot of competing interests here. However, I believe all of these countries have recognized the active threat that Russia plays and its continued encroachment on the sovereignty of Ukraine. And we're going to see them step up in a variety of ways.
Let's talk about one of those other issues, another conflict, because G7 leaders, they have stood with Israel in the past. We're in a bit of a different situation today. Can we expect that same kind of support now?
Well, I think this is going to be a little bit more of a complex situation. I think what you've seen from the UN, for instance, is a call for a ceasefire that has come from a variety of countries across the world. Folks ultimately want to see some type of peaceful resolution here. You're seeing thousands of women and children that are being killed, that have been affected by this conflict, and you have Israeli citizens who continue to live in fear and in harm and are concerned about their own safety. So I think the global community wants to see an end to this, and they're going to continue to push President Netanyahu to bring this conflict to an end.
One of the most unprecedented things that happened here was that Pope Francis became the first ever pontiff to speak at the G7 summit. And what he was concerned about was maybe what a lot of people didn't think he would talk about. He gave a speech on, of all things, artificial intelligence, a very timely concern right now, saying that human dignity needs to be kept at the forefront of this technology. What do we make of that?
Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that he framed it as human dignity. As we're talking about how AI could potentially, in certain industries and certain aspects, replace human workers, or at least marginalize the work of human workers in some capacities, if not properly regulated. He wants to see a human-centric take on how we regulate AI and how we use AI and how we leverage it in a variety of industries in our day-to-day lives. So I truly applaud Pope Francis on speaking directly to those facts and understanding that this was a platform of world leaders. This was the right time, the right opportunity to really make this type of push for smart regulatory frameworks regarding the technology.
No, and it's definitely a concern. It's on everyone's mind. We talk about it every week, whether it's ChatGPT or Apple's announcement, but you're seeing this conversation growing, not only from politicians or people in tech, but now such an esteemed religious figure as the Pope. Bishop Garrison, thanks so much for joining us.